Our next guest is from New Haven. You might know that place. He did his first tattoo in 1977. He moved down here over a decade ago. He actually opened well, I will actually send you to the website. I suggest you check it out. It's Groovy Von Groovystein. It's Catahoula Tattoo.com, CatahoulaTattoo.com. And Dominic Sgro is joining us this morning, along with being a veteran. He is also a remarkable tattoo artist with a lot of ink under his fingers and a lot of ink on a lot of skin. The illustrated man himself has arrived. Lindsay, say good morning to Dominic Sgro.
Good morning, sir. I can see him on the Google Meet, so you look very, very joyful, friend.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and listen, I say that. I'm going to say he's joyful and lovely looking because there are some tattoo artists that are scary. I'm just going to say the obvious. There's some tattoo artists that are scary, and when you walk in, it'll be like, oh, I need somebody who's likable if you're going to put if you're going to put a needle near my body, and I've got several tattoos. I need a likable human who's doing that on me personally. So thank you for having a joyous smile, sir.
I'm delighted to hear you say that, honestly. It's absurd when I hear, you don't look like a tattoo artist. It's like, what am I supposed to look like?
You're supposed to have, like, your face covered in piercings and, like, extreme body modifications.
I got to dress like Bon Jovi.
I have to tell you, I'm with Lindsay on this. I am completely with Lindsay on this. If I walk in and I see you there, I'm going like, oh, thank Jesus. Oh, my God.
If I saw you, I'd get more tattoos. I'd be like, I came in for one. I'm leaving with 10. That would be.
I want to tell you right now, it would be like basically, it's like what if Christmas had a tattoo parlor in it, you actually would be there. It is like this, he's like this handsome, in good shape version of Santa Claus. And I feel really good about that.
A tattooed Santa would be a good band name. Okay, here's where I want to start, Dominic, because as we're talking about, it takes outside of just being good at what you do there, you're also a veteran, so thank you for your service, first of all.
It wasn't always my pleasure.
Yeah, understood.
The requisite amount of suck. Go ahead, Lindsay.
It takes a certain kind of person to go from the combat boots to tattoo boots, I guess I'll say. But both jobs involve needles and pain and sometimes permanent consequences. So I'm curious there if there is a shared mindset that you see between the two, serving in the military and then serving people through art. Is there a discipline or code that you've seen carry through the two?
Oh, I should not have been tattooing in the Army. I was not ready. I tattooed a lot of guys in the Army that they were horrible.
Yeah.
The guys or the tattoos?
The tattoos I did on the guys in the barracks, without the proper, it was the 80s. And I had just joined, but the discipline's there for afterwards. Like, I don't think I could have done anything successful in my life without that foundation. It taught me a lot. I didn't make my bed when I was in high school. My mom did that, I learned how to make a bed. I learned a lot, how to do my laundry. I did iron.
Sorry, Jim, but just successful. But to start and run and grow a successful business as you have with Catahoula for this long a time, what I'm hearing you say is that was the discipline that the being in the military gave you to even, because it's easy to launch a business. It's hard to sustain a business. So
no true words are said. I got to tell you, it's when people say it must be nice, you weren't there.
Yeah.
Like COVID. COVID shut us for 4 months. It was devastating for a lot of small businesses, including, you got to remember, nobody needs what I sell. It's
the key. It's the absolute key to remembering this. And I remember I had a good friend of mine, Lindsay, named Patrick McNamara. And if I showed you who he is the dad that has the relationship with the younger woman in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. You know which one I'm talking about? The dad who actually is sleeping with the girl.
I haven't seen that.
Okay.
It's a long time.
He's been in a lot of stuff. He's that guy. He's the guy that if you see him. And he had the best line about it one time. He told me he came to see a show and he said, I'm going to give you the highest compliment. I want you to take it as such. He said, it's better than it has to be. And he said, it always has to be. He said, because when it comes to what you and I do, when it comes to restaurants, when it comes to tattoos, when it comes to all of it, nobody has to come.
It's a luxury.
There is no demand. I mean, people might say, oh, I had to have this tattoo. Oh, my spiritual animal needed to come out on my skin. I get all of that kind of groovy stuff. But at the end of the day, if you don't provide service, not just product but service, nobody's coming back. Because even if you produce a beautiful image on somebody, it wasn't worth it if the experience from entrance to exit wasn't top notch. It's like getting a great hair. You've talked about it, Lindsay, the idea of going and getting hairstyle. And the idea that it's like, Morgan has talked about this too. The idea that I want to get an experience when I go to have this stuff happen. And it goes back to your army question, Lindsay, and goes back to your making the bed. In order to be a good business owner, you've got to make your bed. I mean, that's it. You've got to have like a beautiful, pristine space. People have to feel comfortable coming in. It's not just about the action of making the tattoo. It's about the whole product, the entrance and the exit and everything in between, right?
I want to say that I was off the cuff, that comment. No Jordan Peterson kind of thing here going on. But yeah, no, it's a discipline. The bed is just one thing. But like shining your shoes or stuff like that.
Right.
But yeah, I got to tell you another thing about the trend today, or the way the industry is going, is that hospitality, that part of hospitality. Either it wasn't ingrained, or it's just the new artists don't think it's necessary. Their work is amazing. There's artists out there with amazing work. But I guess what I'm saying is I have no idea why we're so successful, because there's so many artists out there that are
Might
amazing.
be the hospitality.
And I'm banking on it.
I'm sure it is because here's the thing too. There was only a certain kind. When I say used to be, like a long time ago, there's only a certain kind of person that would have a tattoo, and it was you got him in the military, or you were, the cliche thing we're talking about, pierced, biker that's pierced and covered in tattoos, whatever. And these cliches of what someone with a tattoo would have. And now it's more often, I think it's more rare that somebody doesn't have a tattoo today than the other way around, even if it's that, yeah, Jimmy Mack didn't have one, and that's pretty rare. But I'll say it took me, so my husband has a bunch of tattoos, and my mom blamed him for, I didn't get a tattoo till I was 30, and then I was like, oh, I kind of love this. And I'm not like covered, but I love them. And so my mom still blames my husband to this day. But I remember going in for the first time and being like, feeling in my head, and maybe I was projecting, but feeling like, oh, I'm not the type of person who would be here, so they're going to think I'm silly for getting whatever. And it's not. And my question to you is like, you have to, because you're putting something on somebody's body forever. And to what extent, with that in mind, Dominic, do you just, if a girl walks in and says, I want a butterfly on my hip, do you give her the butterfly on your hip? Or do you try to encourage a little more gusto or to enhance what they're getting?
I don't talk people into tattoos. I'll talk them out of it if it's something I think will look bad.
Yeah.
Only because you hear a lot of people will show you a tattoo on them. And because one of the questions I'll ask is, have you had a tattoo before? If I don't see it, I'm going to assume you didn't. So they'll show me, and the artist put it there and told me that, and now I know their mindset. I'll tell them if it looks bad. But you're going to get something that you didn't realize. You had an idea in your head. I'm going to draw it. And 9 out of 10 times, they'll be like, oh, yes. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. And then we'll put it on them. And I don't know. Did I answer your question?
Yeah. No, you did. Yeah.
The butterfly,
because
the butterfly's nice, but some people, I'll tell you a quick story about SpongeBob SquarePants. Guy comes to me with this image of SpongeBob SquarePants, but it looks like a 4-year-old crayoned it. And I'm like, you don't want this. He goes, no, absolutely, please. I want it. Please put it on my shin. He wants it big, too. Just like, I tried to talk about it. So what I said was, do me a favor, don't post it. I'll do it. It means something to you. And that's kind of important, too. It's one of the questions I ask. What's this mean for you?
Right.
I want to know how long they've been thinking about this tattoo. So,
well, because it could be, you're like, that looks like a 4-year-old drew it. And he's like, well, my 4-year-old did draw it. And so that means something. But I love that because it's your calling card going on someone's body. So I love that you're like, I'll do it for you, but do not say where you got this ever.
He posted it. He posted it everywhere. And it turns out it happens to be a character drawn poorly that was actually on the television show that I didn't realize. And it's called Doodle Bob instead of SpongeBob. And yeah.
Oh my God, I hadn't thought about Doodle Bob. Yeah, my
Well, there's a kid in New Orleans that's wearing a tattoo that looks just like Doodle Bob.
That's so interesting too, though, because I keep thinking about with Rick and Morty, Pickle Rick. The idea that somebody, I'd never seen that before, and then when I suddenly put it together, you suddenly realize that sometimes that something that doesn't look good to you because you don't have no cultural context for it, everybody that gets it gets it. And so that it really kind of lands like that. I do like the idea, though, and it's so important as opposed to just wham, bam, and here's your ink, that there is really a sense of, let's just talk about this for a moment, not because I'm going to talk you out of it, but let me just get a sense of who you are. And that's part of that hospitality, right? So I wanted to kind of ask this in regards to when somebody comes in, we talk about this with museums and halls of fame when we have them on the show. Can you kind of take us through what the experience is like? So Lindsay comes to town, and she's going to get herself a tattoo. So take me through what that experience is like for her and the best way to help her have the best experience when she enters.
Yeah, Lindsay, if you heard about, for one of the questions, how'd you hear about us? But if you went online, you could book a free consultation, which I highly recommend. It's free. Come in for a half an hour. Let's talk about what you're thinking of getting before you commit. We do take a deposit. It's only $200, but we take a deposit if you're going to set an appointment. But come for the consultation. This will eliminate the odds that you're not going to get that. Well, first of all, Catahoula Tattoo has the most amazing conversion rate. And I hope this didn't jinx it just then. But we have an amazing, if you walk in.
He hasn't missed a field goal in 33 attempts. He holds the NFL record with the game on the line. And here's the kick. Yeah, I understand.
We have an amazing conversion rate. And I got to tell you, it's the consultation that does it. It's the consultation that, because you're drawing in front of them. It's like a magic trick, though.
Well, that's huge. No, I've never heard people doing consultations. It's literally because people, and maybe this is that younger generation you're talking about, great artists, but they're just want to get in and do their thing. I've never had a consultation. They've been like, send me what you want, come on over. So I think that's a huge piece.
It's important that this goes on the air. That I am not bashing the young kid, the younger generation. It works for them. What worked for me, and what's continuing to work for me as I'm getting older, because, let's face it, you can't do this forever.
Right.
And it's overcompensating on that service. So I'm going to do less tattoos, but you're going to remember me. You're going to remember the shop. Or if you don't, I may not remember you, and chances are really good I won't. I'll remember the tattoo, but you'll remember the experience. And that's what's key. That's it humbles me when I get a good review. It really I try not to read them, but the real gushy ones are so they're humbling.
Well, yeah, because basically you've given somebody, we talk about ephemeral a lot on this show. Music is ephemeral, movies are, even movies which are kind of locked in stone, our experience of them is ephemeral. There's nothing ephemeral about a tattoo, meaning it's there. It is there. And you're actually, the idea that if you walk in there and you have any doubts, if they haven't been removed, it can be a really anxiety-inducing experience.
You're a part of that person's life forever.
Ever.
I think about that all the time. And sometimes I say that to my clients. I say, I just permanently altered you. And so they're never going to forget you.
They wake up in the morning, it wasn't there.
Yeah.
And now it's there forever.
It's a crazy thing. And I also wanted to make a comment as a young person who walked into your shop. Also for the listeners who have known me, this is my first tattoo apprenticeship. So basically I was working out of my house and self-teaching myself. And when I moved here to New Orleans in January, I said, I want to do it the right way. I want to learn from a master. And so I knew this girl through a mutual friend named Olivia who worked at Dom's shop and said, yeah, come in and talk to him. He's really nice.
Do you regret not talking to a master? And talking to me.
You
nicely done, by the way. Self-depreciation is always a really big plus among people who can be screwing around with your skin. Go.
Yeah. But it is, so one of the things that drew me to the shop, if you go on Google and you type in best tattoo shop in New Orleans, Catahoula is what pops up. And that is how we get 99% of our clientele. And that is usually what they say. And he always says, well, then how'd you end up here? Because it is a thing of like, the hospitality is what brings them there, because you can go and get a tattoo anywhere, but it's the experience that matters. And you made me watch that Simon Sinek.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I actually went and watched it after you told me to watch it. He bases his like business on, it's called the Golden
Circle.
Golden
I didn't
Circle.
know I was doing it. Someone called me out on it, and I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Lindsay, do you know the Golden Circle?
I do not.
Oh, it's really cool. Go ahead and unpack it.
Well, it'll never, Simon Sinek, he's a motivational speaker, but more so about leadership. Yeah, he talks about a product, and he tells you that it's a biological impulse to make a decision on purchasing something, not psychological. And he draws this circle, and biologically, we buy from the out in. So it isn't important what you do; it's why you do it.
Right.
And I didn't know that because I was saying, this is why I do it. And someone called me out on this, and then I went down the Simon Sinek rabbit hole. Turns out I was doing it that way and not knowing that there was actually
He codifies something that he notices is going on around. I mean,
Yeah,
the idea
watch his TED Talk.
It's the why, right?
Right.
It's
the,
all it's
why
not what
are
you
you
do.
doing this?
It's if you believe that I believe that this is a worthy pursuit, or it's going to come out nice, and that's the way I approach. That's why I tried to train everyone to approach every tattoo that way.
It's interesting too, Lindsay, because it actually is one of the theories of marketing as well. The idea that, if you can figure out what the why is, you can figure out what your pitch to actually get more clients in, which then has an impact on your content as well and how you create the content. Because if you can solve the riddle of the why for the customer, you then absolutely have kind of, plugged in to that happy medium where you're doing what you want and you're actually catering to the need of what they want. It gets really complex in the way it's put
But
together.
you could only do that
Right.
with the consultation.
That's exactly
Because
it.
if you come in and you just want a tattoo and you're looking on my walls, I don't advertise any tattoos on the walls. You're not coming in there and picking a number 4.
Yeah, that's the other thing. The way that his shop is set up, because I'm covered in tattoos. I've been to a lot of different shops, and his is the most unique one I've been in, which is what drew me to it, is because it's by appointment only. So we don't do walk-ins. There's no flash on the walls. Each tattoo is tailored to the specific person. So I really appreciate the value in that, and that this is like almost a sacred thing that we're doing. It's not you just feeling impulsive and walking into a shop and getting a
There
tattoo.
is no impulse purchase at Catahoula. Lindsay, you had something.
Well, yeah, it feels this feels more like a hairdresser situation. Like, you go to when you find a hairdresser, you're like, it's really about the joke hairdressers and bartenders or therapists. I wouldn't say that for all tattoo artists, but this situation feels like there's a little bit of therapy going on, or you're figuring the person out. Certainly, I mean, you've said that in those exact words. So
less Santa, more Freud.
But Santa Freud, it's a Santa Freud. Santa Freud, your new
Freud
band.
is actually taking pleasure in the pleasure of others, as opposed to Schadenfreude, which is taking pleasure in the displeasure of others. So I think you come
This
up
is
with a new
brilliant.
term.
We just coined a new term, Santa Freud. Not fraud, not Santa fraud, Santa Freud. Be careful on that. But but on the therapy side of that, like, you mentioned a bit ago that you will, I won't remember the person, but I'll remember the tattoo. From that therapy perspective, what's the most moving tattoo that you remember doing that someone, I mean, I know certainly people will get tattoos in honor of people that have passed, but do you remember a specific story that moved you as well?
Well, yeah, over the years, there has been so many. It's a little traumatic when the first person passed that I tattooed. And then you think about, wow, that was, and then you do memorial tattoos. I've done tattoos on people that have passed, that have been our clients for years. Then you find out later, and you think of all the tattoos you put on them. But the flip side to that are memorial tattoos. The industry has changed. People are charging a premium for memorial tattoos, and I think that's upsetting.
What?
It is not. If I ever
Why?
hear another artist say, your grandmother would have wanted you to spend $1,000 on this portrait.
Wait, why? What's the logic
I would rather
behind?
put a daisy on your shoulder for free.
What's the
This is for
logic in
grandma.
charging more for a memorial?
Because they can.
No, but what's?
It's like selling a car. It's sleazy. Ooh, not all salesmen, but you know what I'm saying.
Well, no,
Wow.
no. I mean, and I get it. It's the same reason why people often at the the moment of truth when they go to you can always tell a funeral parlor when somebody walks in and says, "Take me through the options," and they take you through the options, and then the client picks, and that's the end of it. That's actually a good funeral director. When the person says, "No, no, I think in memory of this wonderful woman," the next step up is the way you want to go. At that moment, you should run for the hills. That's the moment when you realize you're not dealing with reputable people because anybody trying to upsell you on grief is somebody that is the word. Lindsay was using the word sleazy earlier in a positive way. That's the negative version of it.
I'm sleazy in a positive way. No, but there's so much. I mean, outside of obviously, there's death and memorial, but there's breakups, there's dead pets, there's bad decisions, there's declarations of eternal love that only last for a couple months. I mean, I think it's the kiss of death when sometime, at least for people I know, when they get the tattoo of the wedding band on their finger.
Statistically, it's not the kiss of death.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to tell you, it's not the kiss of death. I still try 3 times to talk them out of it because instead of a name, I'll be like, well, what was important to him? He was a mechanic. We'll put a wrench on you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll make that wrench on fire.
Yeah.
But, I've had someone call the shop I picked up that time. A lot of times we're so small, we don't always answer the phone. So leave a message. We'll get back to you. But someone had just passed. They were at the hospital. They wanted a blackbird because they saw it. And the blackbird was this person's favorite bird. And I sent a lift to pick her up and waited till she got there. And then I even drove her to a hotel later to, she was all broken up. But she needed this blackbird tattoo. And she was all alone, and he passed. And I don't know the rest of the story. I wish I'm not that deep.
That's good enough.
But yeah, I mean, it's when they're in pain like that, you don't want to. You just want to make them. You want to comfort them. And if tattoo is going to do it with everything else that comes along, coffee's always free at my shop. Ice pops are free at my shop. Yeah.
Really quickly, guys, before we go on, our good friend Trucker Boson says, I need new tats. I only have one left, one on my left shoulder. He actually says, I wanted a Celtic cross / tree of life on my right shoulder. Trucker Boson, you've been down here. You've been to this neck of the woods. And if you want to know about you, you might actually want to make the trip over here. Let me tell you, everybody, one more time, since we have Dominic here, to tell them to go to CatahoulatTattoo.com. It's spelled just like the dog. CatahoulatTattoo.com. Why Catahoula?
I stole a Catahoula one time, dog. Sorry, sidebar. Well, because he was being abused at the house, kind of catty corner from me. And so I stole it. And then I had to, until I could figure out how to redog it, how to get him a new home, we had to put him in the car and drive undercover at night to go take him out to the bathroom. But I encourage stealing dogs that are being abused. So when I think that's why Catahoula feels great to me, because it's, you know what? Just like me stealing dogs, you're saving lives out over there, one tattoo at a time, and speaking to people's souls, Dom. So good on you, sir.
Tell us, like I said, and why Catahoula? I mean, why?
So my wife and I moved down here, and my neighbor got a little puppy, and we had just I lost a dog, she lost a dog. Dogs are tough, man. We saw this puppy, and the moment you get a dog, it changes your life. And we started looking at Catahoulas. They were beautiful dogs. So we drove, and I think we rescued one from a breeder, to be honest with you, because it was. Yeah. We drove an hour to get this puppy, and then we were hooked.
Love you, man.
So we have 2 now. We have. I actually named an ointment after one of them, and the other one is gracing the overhead at our shop. Because it rhymes with tattoo, it sounded like the thing to do. But yeah, I got 2 Catahoulas.
Really quickly, Lindsay, let me make sure I get this in for our good friend. Grumpy Boscos. I want you to go to grumpyboscos.com. You got about a minute left here. Can you just kind of tell us a little bit about the tattoo aftercare that you think people deserve?
Absolutely. The process doesn't stop when you leave. It actually continues. Your tattoo needs to heal. And there's too much misinformation out there. A lot of products that don't work. They're not going to hurt your tattoo, but I've never seen anything that I wouldn't endorse this if it didn't work. If it was just a run of the mill. It's all natural products. One smells like cloves, the other one smells like lavender, and it'll not only help heal a fresh tattoo, it brings old tattoos back to life. So,
Wow.
yeah, I'm going to leave these with you guys. You could smell them.
Oh, save me one, guys.
I'll take
Okay.
care of it, Lindsay.
All right.
I'll set you up.
Dre
And they're-
over here just got a new tattoo.
Dre got a new tattoo.
Well, smell them. They're interesting scents. And, putting them together and then trying to market them, because, like I said, I'm getting older. I want to stay in the industry. The industry's been really good to me. So I'm thinking this is my exit strategy.
You're going to become an ointment salesman in your retirement.
It's not
I like
snake
it.
oil. You make it sound like snake oil.
No. No, I would use. I was reading about it last night, and I told my husband, who hasn't had a tattoo in over 20 years, but now with our daughter, he's thinking of getting one. But I was like, hey, you could use some Grumpy Boscos to spruce up those stars on your arm, brother. Let's get at it. So we'll do it. Grumpy Boscos is the place to check out. CatahoulaTattoo.com. Check them out. If we haven't convinced you where to go get a tattoo in New Orleans, are you even alive? I don't know. This is clearly the place.
I have failed my job. I have failed in my job.
Clearly
Dominic,
the place.
it is good to meet you, sir.
Nice to meet you all. Thank you so much for having me on. I hope
And
I
thanks
was,
for
I hope
letting
I
us-
was entertaining.
You were very entertaining. Thanks for letting us share Madison, share the workload with you. Thank you.